Alright, so this is how to win. This is my winning strategies, like what I do to when I'm playing to win. So obviously, first off, you shuffle your deck, you draw cards, right? Check out your hands to see what you can do. You need to make sure you have a win condition. It's always good to have a win condition, or at least figure out a way to deal the most amount of damage you can. You don't have to deal 8,000 exactly. You don't have to have an OTK or an FTK, but you got to be able to do at least 4,000 points of damage. And if you could do it more than once, then that would be 8,000. That'd be game, right? If you could do 8,000 more than once. But if you could do 6,000 plus damage, that's useful, because you never know, your opponent might be in a position where they lost life points. Let's say they lost 2,000 on soul charge, so they'll be at 6,000. So if you have a way to deal 6,000, then you'll win, right? Because they have only 6,000 to play with. Or if they play a card that cuts their life points in half, so they lost 4,000, so they only have 4,000 left, then the ability to produce 4,000 damage easily and quickly will allow you to win. So obviously, having a win condition, OTK, the ability to reduce your opponent's life points, is obviously important and is part of the game. Negation, control, being able to prevent your opponent from resolving an effect that can allow them to win, or at least allow them to prevent you from winning. So if you summon a whole bunch of monsters and you try to attack and have a mirror force, then you were going to win, but the mirror force is now going to try to stop you. And now if you stop the mirror force, then you won't lose, right? As soon as I opened up with soul charge, I win, right? This is a decent hand, but not the best hand. Could have definitely been better. Definitely could have been better. The fact that this doesn't... I'm still waiting for a plant monster to it's like Thrasher. You can special summon it. Preferably a 4-star. Earth would be nice. Still waiting for that. But until then, I'm going to have to set up for this. This is more of a turn 2 play. Right here, I can Black Rose. And then, be able to soul charge. And then Needle Fiber and go off. So I could go with that, right, where I normal summon that and set the Boundless, since I'm going first. And there you go. Now with Rose Whip, it's important. Part of my game strategy is make my opponent play the way I want him to play. Also, make it harder for your opponent to win. So your opponent can only activate one spell trap per turn. So I prefer this to be in defensive because the defense is higher, obviously, but I can't normal set, right? That's only in the anime, so I have to normal summon, but at least I have the Boundless to potentially protect this. But it has only 400 attack, so it doesn't take much to kill it. But my opponent's more concerned with establishing a board, or playing something good, than just trying to run this little thing over. They're not going to waste time summoning something weak, use up their battle phase just to kill this little thing, just so they can try to do stuff. They'll be like, alright, well, if I can only play one spell or trap, that's okay, I just need one spell anyway. And then they'll just go off. Especially if their play is they'll summon a whole bunch of monsters, then soul charge, and then bring out more monsters and just keep linking. And it's like, alright, well, you only needed one spell card to do all that, right? So limiting them to one spell or trap is not going to stop somebody with a soul charge or anything of that nature, but it could. The main thing is that I'm putting my opponent in a position where they have to think of what spell to play, what spell not to play. They could play a MST, for example, and pop my Bottomless, and then now they can't play no more spells or traps as long as it stays face up. But since it's an attack mode 400, they should be able to run it over relatively easy. Of course, what I could have done instead of that, right, is I could have normal summoned or set. Well, that's another thing. I could just set this because it does have a higher defense. But by having it face down, I don't get the effect. But I could have normal summoned this because it has higher attack. And then set this, which means in order to run this over, you need at least a monster with 1600 attack, because it's a 1550. So you need a monster with at least 1600 attack to run this over. So if somebody summons something like a Candina or something like that, well, one, I have the bombless, so they're not going to succeed. If somebody summons Expector Border, again, bombless, you know, I have that already ready. But personally, I want this on the field. But if this was like an instant fusion, or at least something that can special summon, or Mariah Captain or something, if this can get on the field, then I would have done a Needle Fiber play. I would have done a much better board if this could special summon. So again, this hand wasn't perfect, but it was still slightly playable. At least this play right here slows my opponent down, and it puts them in a position where they have to think. And then while they're thinking, I'm thinking. So I'm thinking like, what can I do? How can I outplay this? Let's say they play MST and they get rid of this, right? So they get rid of that. So now they don't have to worry about it. But in order to play more spells, they're going to have to get rid of this, which with 400 attack shouldn't be that hard. But sometimes you'd be surprised that it can be hard. And then they do manage to kill it, right? And then they do what they want to do. And if they didn't end me out, then I still got the Soul Charge play. My turn, draw. I got the recall, which will be useful for breaking their board, depending on how powerful the board is. Now, the way the game is right now, which is important about analyzing the meta, analyzing games in general, since a lot of people post deck profiles and stuff like that online, you do know what decks largely are filled with. And I notice a lot of decks are filled with monsters, so there's very little back row. So let's say in this scenario, my opponent just has monsters but don't have no back row. Alright, well, one, I can now special summon this, normal summon this, right? And if they have nothing that can prevent a Black Rose play, I can obviously go into the Black Rose play I talked about earlier. So this is what I will, do now, right? Black Rose, any response? No, can't. Got no Veiler, got nothing to stop it. If they have it, they have it, right? But if they don't, they don't. And then boom, just wipe the board. Let's just say they didn't have much. It was just a basic board they have, and I was able to get rid of it. Then, now I can, of course, with Soul Charge, I automatically win, right? Let's say I have enough to pay 4,000, and let's say I have 1,000 left now. Because let's say they dealt me a good amount of damage, but it was only enough to make me lose 3,000. Now I pay 4,000, so I have 1,000 left. A lot of life to lose, but it under the right conditions, it could be worth it, right? So let's just go straight into the Needle Fiber play, and let's see what I can do. Now, of course, I can't attack, so Needle Fiber, doing what Needle Fiber does best. I'm gonna go with the go both routes. Depends what kind of board I want to create. Since I can't attack, obviously it's not an attack-based board. So then, no, since this is not Earth, I can't go into the negation board. So it's more important for me to get Spore. So this is my Spore proxy. I don't think I'm searching the deck anymore. I'm gonna probably end up drawing instead, because I'm going for a basic play. So Fire Dragon and Spore, Black Rose Dragon to bring out Cerberus. Alright, so Cerberus is on the field. And then I will use to go with that play. I can save the Spore for a later play. I just go for the basic 2 monsters with different names. Nightmare Phoenix effect. Now I can pitch. Obviously, right now I could pitch this card to draw, so we'll do it just to see what happens. I have the Lone Fire. Did I normal summon this turn? Yes, I did. Lone Fire will be very useful later. since I already used up my soul charge, it's not going to be able to do much. Now the recall would have definitely been great to hold on to, but just want to see what would happen if I actually use the ability. So I have the lone fire. Recall would be a better choice, of course, because you want to have some negation. So let's say I don't do the effect, and I just keep the recall. So then I set the recall. So then I have, Cerberus and Phoenix. Can't destroy battle card effect. So that right there, I don't have to worry about protecting them from, dying by battle or card effect, because they already take care of each other. So I got two monsters I can, battle with. Of course, I could link them up into something bigger, better, stronger, faster, like a Firewall Dragon or something. But, I prefer this. I want to keep this on the board. Granted, I only have 1,000 life points I could lose right now. If my opponent has a monster that's strong enough, that's 2,600 attack or 2,900 attack. But they're going to have it. Or they can just do a little bit of damage and then cowboy for game. But I do have the recall, so I can't prevent the cowboy for game scenario. Just depends on the situation. But, that's somewhat of what I can do. There's other plays I could have done. Of course, I could have done a much simpler, more basic play where I didn't sacrifice so much life. I just wanted to YOLO and go as far as getting Phoenix and Cerberus on the field, which can, recall your play. Oh, you weren't able to do much? Alright, my turn. Draw. Or they will stall. Yeah, lone fire. Summon lone fire. Tribute lone fire. Lone fire. Lone fire. Second. So negation, obviously. Right now, here's another thing I do is stall to draw or stall to win. Right now I don't have much cards, but I did Lone Fire Blossom to get Gold Bulb out onto the field. Now I can, if I have a Linkrevo, obviously I can go into Linkrevo play, but I don't. I'm about to go into the Spore play, and I'll just get rid of one of these extra copies, banish it, bring this back as a 4. That's irrelevant because I'm just going to use this straight up as link material. I got 2 effect monsters, and I can go into on the clock taker, put it right here, so it points down to Cerberus. Cerberus points at it, so all 3 of these are co-linked. So now on the clock taker can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. And the once per turn effect where I can target one face-up monster that this card points to, which is points to Cerberus, and then target one of my opponent's monsters and make that monster lose attack equal to Cerberus's attack until end of turn. So I use the ability, make something lose 1,600 attack, which should make it easy to run it over. Run it over with 1,000, 16, 19, And even though this is 1,000, and it can open me up to potential danger, I have no more links. But if I have more links, I can bring back Global by his own effect, and then link into something else, preferably something a little bit stronger. But right now, at least I was able to do some damage. So still, stalling right with a wall, and then I'm going in for some damage. I could not have made it on the clock taker, of course, right? And just stick with these for a little bit longer and wait until I can establish more board. Because let's say I don't make it on the clock, so I have the lone fire. Alright, so then I just stick with this, do what I can do with this, end my turn. Let's say this dies by battle. Not much of a big deal since I can always bring it back. My turn, draw. Good card, but not something I will want to summon since it is low on attack. So remember, we're still going with the idea that I'm at 1,000, so you don't want to take the risk of somebody summoning something. They can just attack and do you 1,000 easily. But it has 17 in defense, so I could just again stall longer, right? And then that automatically gets something on board. So that way next time if I draw no monster, I can still go into a link play, or maybe I draw a spell card and go into some type of combo. I only have 1,000, so if I draw instant fusion, that's a dead draw for now, just because I'm that low in life. I didn't have to be that low. I could have obviously made different decisions, but right now I'm trying to stall a win. Right, I'm trying to stall a draw. So do some attacking, try to keep my board presence, and trying to reduce my opponent's board presence. Let's say they summon something that's 2,000 attack. They attack separate, so I take 400. So now I got 600 life points, and of course these two can't run it over. My turn, draw. Really good card. Great card to draw right now. Because the funny thing is, this would normally be an MST. If you've seen any of my other videos where I was using this deck to explain concepts of dueling, this was MST, but I just got 6 copies of Citric Archfiend, put 3 in this deck and 3 in another deck. I'm planning to buy more, of course. And this is to replace MST. So this would have been MST, which won't do much against my opponent having a 2,000. But since it's a Citric Archfiend, yay! I have a way to kill my opponent's 2,000. Because of course, normal summon it, tribute, pop their monster, and now I can, go in and deal some more damage. Or let's say the problem I'm having right now, let's say they play Swords of Revealing Light. Let's say they try and stall. All right, well, since I drew this, put in the pendulum area, pop it, kill swords, and then I can attack. Still go in and applying pressure on my opponent. Very versatile, which is why I use it, because this easily replaces MST. If its effect was, during either player's turn, quick effect, it would be super great, right? But it's not, but it serves its purpose. It's a great card. And if I had another card, with a different scale, I can obviously do some pendulum summon plays, which will definitely be good in this deck with the fact that I'm trying to get multiple monsters on the field to link summon and synchro and stuff. So this is great. Throwing another pendulum monster here, all the fun. But right now, we're going with the monster strategy. Boop, boop, pop your monster. See, stall to draw, you know what I mean? Boop, boop, do some more damage, so I'm in a winning, position right now. I'm able to stay in the game, and I have no back row, but I'm still in the game because I made a strategy that, lets me stall. Right now, I only have, 600 life points. So I'm not that long from gone. I don't have recall right now, so I have no monster negation, so I have very little response. Right now, my opponent can do anything. I could barely do anything. I can't stop them. They can, they can try to cowboy for games since I only have 600. Anything is possible. They can win the duel right now. But if they don't, let's say they don't have anything to beat, got reinforcement, go in there. Obviously, I know what this is. It's just straight to my Goblin Barnberg. Now, I'm able to do some more stuff. Like I said before, I didn't have no negations, but now I can try to bring out negation. So, almost summon the Goblin Barnberg. I can use Globe Bulb's ability, bring it back for that one-time shot. Send this to graveyard deck hitting. This is a proxy for Gillosaurus. Alright, so Lone Fire's back. Good thing I didn't do the Underclock Taker strategy, right? Because then I wouldn't have space to synchro. So then it's a matter of figuring out what single play I'm going to do. I can go 7 with my face down monster, or I can go 5. Won't be able to go 6, but I can do 5. I can, yep, well, it depends. I can actually open up, let's see, because I can actually open up an extra zone. So all I have to do is summon right here, Underclock Taker. But using what? Obviously I could do Underclock Taker, but then I can't. Notorious Beast. But anyway, going straight to Beast. Can't Underclock. I don't know why I thought like on the clock. Oh no. I was gonna say, oh yeah, because I didn't use 4 yet. No, I actually did. I have 1 card back, so I did use 4. So I'll go for the beast play. I could put it here, and now I have something stronger. So the main thing is that I have more attack power right now. Just thinking, could have done use these 2 for underclock, then made that beast, and that would be. But my opponent would have to have a monster for me to weaken. No point in making another clock, right? But as you can see, I got 16, 19, 22. Let's assume my opponent still has no monster on the field. Likely, yeah, I can do underclock, but no point. Won't do anything. And I got 22, so that's a good thing. I have a strong monster, so even if they manage to get enough strong monster field, let's say another hypothetical 2,000, the attack Cerberus, I take another 400, so that brings me down to 200 life points, and then, you know, bring out Notorious Beast and whatnot. Now, that's if I'm controlling the board, making it hard for my opponent to, have multiple monsters. If they can get multiple monsters, they could just attack Cerberus over, with their different monsters and add up to 1,000 and beat me that way, obviously. But this is just to show, the basics, my basic game strategy where, I will build something where, for example, the little basic nightmare board, so that way I can stall, so I can draw. Setting up. Let's see what else can I draw. Draw some cards just to show some stuff. Draw 5. Alright, so I have potential TK. That's always important to have a potential strategy to reduce your opponent's life points to 0. Obviously, you want to have some back row or something, or some type of way of responding. Mind traps, let's say. See, that's instant fusion. I can't use it, so because I don't have the life. Let's say I'm at 200. I set this. Now it looks like a trap when it's not. These are actual traps, but let's pretend that these, I don't have no traps. So if I set this, it looks like I have a trap. So that's the whole mind trapping thing. You're making your opponent think, assume you have something when you really don't. Even looking in your extra deck before you make a move, even if the move is going to be something as simple as setting this, make it look like a trap, you'd be like, okay, what do I got here? Could do that. Could do that. Especially if you talk to yourself, like you talk out loud. Talk out loud, and you'd be like, I could use this. I could do that. Right? Even doing that, just a little bit of talking. Thinking out loud is the term. A little bit of quote unquote thinking out loud can mind trap your opponent, because your opponent will be obviously listening, and they'll try to be using that information that you're giving them to make decisions. So you're mind trapping them, and they're like, okay, I won't do that right now. Just even saying that, I won't do that right now, makes it seem like you have something, when in reality you don't. I won't do that right now. I'll just do this. Blah, 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 attack, and turn. Just doing that already just puts so many traps in your opponent's mind, so many ideas to hesitate. They'll be like, oh, that has to be a threat. That has to be something. He's probably saving it for later. I need to get rid of that. And right now, you just put your opponent in a mental minefield. Because now they have to figure out, like, okay, what is that? Is that a prompt? They had something, but they didn't want to do it yet. So what are they planning? Did they assume that did they figure out my strategy? Do they have a plan? They're trying to save something. Like they have something they could have done, but they saved it. What is it? So since they're thinking about that, think about what you could have done. That's going to prevent them from even just focusing on the basic stuff. What you currently already have face up on the field. They're more concerned about your face down card that they don't know, and what you quote unquote would have done based off of what you were saying and how you were looking at your extra deck. And then you looked at your graveyard, maybe even look at your opponent's graveyard, look at your extra deck, and then you're like, I won't do that yet. I'll just set this and end my turn, or attack and then set this and end my turn, whatever. And just that little show, that little charade is more than enough to mind trap your opponent. You know, that's just as important as actual playing cards. You know, mind traps are just as effective as an actual trap. Setting this down so that way they think it's a mirror force is just as effective as if it was a mirror force. So you always got to remember that your actions, you know, speak louder than words, as they say. Your actions can potentially lead to your victories. You know what I mean? Like, these all could be spells right here. Right? You know what I mean? Like, oh man, let me just set these two. You know, end my turn, go. You know what I mean? They'll think you have answers, you have responses, which means they have to ask, do you have a response? You're like, no. Wait a minute. No, you good. Don't take too long. You know, if you take too long with the whole, like, wait, give me a second. Nope, I got no response, go. Or, no response from me. Let me see. Like, you have any response? Then you look. No, you're good. You know, like, you take the time to check, right? And then, like, go. You're giving them the impression that you have a response. That you're just checking to see if which one card you have to respond with, or if you do or don't. You can even look at this like, no, you good. Keep going. Just those little gestures, those little actions. You know, even doing this, messing around with your hand, can, you know, mind trap your opponent, because they'll be like, okay, let's say they're about to do something, they'll be like, I summon, or like, let's say they draw, and then you're like, okay, you're holding on to a card, just literally separating one card from your hand from the rest of your hand, and just holding it, and just looking at your opponent like you're waiting for something. Just that alone will make them think like, does he got a Failure? Does he got a Ghost Ogre? Does he have a hand trap? Because why is he holding one card separate from the rest of his hand? You know, so these are small little things that I do that, you know, give me the advantage in a duel. You know, it looks like I got stuff, but in reality, you get to see that I got nothing. I just got combo pieces, but I'm making it look like I got answers for days. Look, I got a hand trap right here I'm holding on to. I know it's not. You know it's not because you can see it, but my opponent doesn't know. Just like, you know, that's not a trap, you know that's not a trap, but my opponent doesn't know that, and that's the point. Since your opponent doesn't know, you can play off of that, off of the fact they don't know. You know, you can do something as simple as this, like, put your hand down, hold on to this one card, just la 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 la, just basic as, you know, basic plays. You know, even grabbing your hand right and just putting your hand down for a bit, and just like looking at your face down and just focusing on like, oh, I don't need to look at my hand. They'll be like, okay, so he doesn't have a hand trap. So his response, and the reason why he doesn't seem worried, because he's acting like he has no care in the world, he has nothing to worry about, like, I'm not going to be a threat to him, then these must be threats. Nope, they're actually not threats. I'm just making it look like they are by acting like I got nothing to worry about. I don't even need to look at my hand because I got these, and that's all I need. So we know I had nothing, but let's. It's important to have stuff that multi-purpose. So let's get this centric arcane is here to show the importance of having multi-purpose cards. You know, obviously having a monster with strong attack, but also an effect that can be used when either player's turn is always good. Obviously, that's multi-purpose right there. The fact that you can negate spells during either player's turn is very awesome. And he's 2200, which will help me deal damage, dealing damage, and spell negation, multi-purpose. So, has more than one use. It can be a negation card, but it could also be an attacker for winning the game. Centric Archfiend, spot removal, can get rid of floodgates, back row, anything that could be problematic, as well as it can get rid of a monster that just so happens to be too strong in case I can't, you know, destroy, in case I can't summon something strong enough to beat something my opponent has. At least I can pop it with her monster effect, normal summoner, tribute, beat whatever I need to beat. So multi-purpose cards that have more than one use. If I have another card, obviously I can do another scale, and I could pendulum summon. So multi-purpose. Magic of Mallet obviously is consistency. The ability to just make my hands more consistent. Foolish Burial. Depending on what I mill with this, obviously this can only let me send monsters, but depending on what monster I send to graveyard by this, it can be anything. I can send a Shadow dragon to the graveyard, and then essentially I have MST, because now I could pop back or once Shadow dragon goes to the graveyard. So this in a Shadow deck, is an Upstart Goblin if I use it with Shadow Beast, if I'm right. If I use this with Shadow Sequilla, it's essentially another Foolish Burial. You know what I mean? It acts like, because I send Sequilla with this, and then you can use Sequilla's effect to send another Shadow monster from a deck to the graveyard. So it's deck thinning. There's a lot that this can obviously do. If I send something like a Glow Bulb, then it becomes like tribute fodder or link fodder. Because Glow Bulb I can bring it back from the graveyard, or Plague Spreader, or anything that has graveyard effect. Obviously it could be a search card, just by getting something to the graveyard and then using that card's reborning ability, or another card that can bring that monster back. Essentially it's like a search, because I was able to get it out my deck and then put it where I wanted to put it. It could be in my hand or on the field, depending on what card I use. So multi-purpose. Instant Fusion. Proxy of Instant Fusion. Multi-purpose, depending on what I summon from my extra deck with it. I can have a once per turn during either player's turn ability to target one face-up monster and change it to face-down defense position. So basically it could become a Book of Moon. Or at least for my turn, when I summon, I can do the Book of Moon thing and then link. But if I bring it back with like Monster Reborn back to the front, or some reborn way of getting it back on the field, then it's a during either player's turn ability. But being able to summon it with Instant Fusion and using his effect that turn is really useful, especially if it's against a monster that can't be destroyed by battle card effect. But I can use this to put the monster face down and then do some link play or synchro play and then run that monster over. It's very useful. Theseus, Tuner, be able to synchro summon, or go into Crystal Needle Fiber. So Instant Fusion has a lot of uses. If I use Panzer Dragon, then I have a way of destroying any card on the field. So then it becomes, Instant Fusion essentially becomes like an eccentric archfiend, where I can destroy a monster or spell and trap with it. So it was like, oh, you have a floodgate. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem against my deck. So Instant Fusion, bring out the Panzer, set some back row, end my turn. Panzer go graveyard, effect triggers, pop your back. I've beaten what is it called? True King of All Calamities with an Instant Fusion, because I used it to bring out Panzer, set some back row, and then my turn Panzer, go to graveyard, pop, got rid of the True King of All Calamities, and didn't have to worry about it anymore. So it's so that's why one of the many reasons I use is obviously this link material, this tribute fodder, because whatever you bring out, you can tribute, synchro material, fusion material, so forth and so forth. I mean, the fact that Instant Fusion counts as an official fusion summoning, I can Instant Fusion any of these, and they'll count as official fusion summon, and then I can always reborn them and get their effects off, and use them for whatever I want to use them for. So that's always good. What else? Gillosaurus's ability, special summons, useful because it helps you get more monsters on the board for OTK potential. Being able to summon 2, and summon other monsters in the attack and deal a lot of damage is useful. Again, special summon, then tribute for a tribute summon, or just special, normal, and then do a link play or an exceed play, or summon a tuner and do some type of some type of synchro play or whatever you want to do. So multi-purpose. You know, it's a 3-star Earth, so this along with a 2-star Earth tuner can make Notorious Beast. So it's like, you know, multi-purpose. You want everything to have synergy, and that's the thing about having multi-purpose cards. They can do multiple things. This can't do much other than you know, obviously it's good against pendulum summoning, link summoning, synchro summoning. So like, it has a lot of cards this can be used against, obviously, because it works against monsters, but it can't do nothing else. It can't do nothing to spells and traps. It, you know, it can only do what it can to monsters, but it does do a lot. So I do get a lot of value out of it, and that's the thing about multi-purpose is value. This is a tuner Earth. You know, I can make Barkon, you know, with this. I can make any synchro with this, Black Rose and whatnot. Obviously, its ability of making my opponent only being able to play 1 spell trap per turn, you know, slowing them down. That's another purpose it has. So again, multi-purpose. Same for, you know, bulb, you know, link material, reusable link material, a synchro material for beast, and so forth and so forth. And the list just goes on, you know. This helps me get another monster on the field. Plus, I could just summon it and attack with it. You know, it's something, it's Earth, you know, and I can search it out. You know, there it is, Rhoda, and so forth and so forth. And you get the idea that, you know, you want multi-purpose. When these two are combined, of course, they do what they do, which is this makes it where they can't be destroyed by battle, and this makes it where you can't be destroyed by card effect. But individually, this can destroy a monster that was special summoned into the main monster zone, and this can destroy a spell and trap. So this has some uses, you know, in case I need to get rid of a floodgate. Let's say somebody has a Swords of Revealing Light, then I can summon this, use this effect, and destroy the Swords of Revealing Light. The fact that they have, when they're linked, have the ability to let me draw, that's good. That's more deck thinning, you know, more purpose. Multi-purpose, you don't want to limit yourself to just one thing. Like, even though it's funny to say that this only has one ability, which is it can special summon, it does have other, you know, value. You know, the fact that it's, you know, 3-star Earth, that has value. So it does have multiple purpose. Not all the purpose has to be having multiple effects. It's just that if you do have multiple effects, of course, you know, you have multiple things you can do, of course. But just the idea of just, you know, the fact that it's a 3-star Earth that I can special summon, even first turn, that itself is useful. You know, that's a purpose beyond just an effect. And I think that's all that I have for you right now. Not much other than, you know, have a win condition, learn, try to memorize as many decks or strategies as you possibly can. Also keep in mind, every deck is virtually the same. You know what I mean? This deck is no different from my Salt Mode deck or from any of my other decks or my Ninja deck or my, you know, Dino deck, Magian Doka. All the concepts are relatively the same. The premise is the same. It's have some effect negation, whether it be spell, trap, monster effect, and summon negation. Those 4 states of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then, of course, win condition. You know, I can OTK in the Dino deck. I could potentially OTK in this deck with the right hand, of course. But the fact that I can deal 4,000 to 6,000 plus in a single turn with almost any hand, you know, is, you know, very useful. Because if my opponent just so happens to have low life, I can just end them out with even a basic hand. I don't have to go all out and have a specific hand. Just even any hand can put in work. But even just stalling, you know, just a basic hand where I can just get these 2 on the field is more than enough. I don't need to go link my opponent. I don't have to go do something too extravagant, too exaggerate. Just even getting these 2 on the field, I don't have to worry about negation as much, because the only reason I would try to negate anything would be to like negate something like a dark hole or something, so that my opponent can't break my board, right? But since he makes it where you can't dark hole, then I don't have to worry about that. And having back roll like red screen or wobble or some type of defense, the reason for that is to keep my monster on the field, right? You know, so that way they can't be attacked and die by battle. But this makes it where these 2 can't die by battle. So with these two on the field, that already does what 70% of the job that my strategy, the way I play normally takes. Okay, the way my decks normally are is they're built to prevent my monsters from being destroyed by card effect or by battle, by playing cards in combination to create a strategy to protect my monsters. But when you have monsters that, when they're together on the field at the same time, can already prevent battle destruction and prevent card destruction, card effects from destroying them, then that's 70% of my job done as a player. I don't have to do much, just go in there, attack, and respond to a couple of my opponent's plays, interrupt their plays. I don't even have to stop them from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, just slow them down and make it hard for them to play, but not stop them from playing, and then just beat them with basic gameplay, basic Yu-Gi-Oh! Knowledge. And that's the end of the video.